We
Yes.
talked about cuts in the fire department. Everybody agrees it's not a good thing from the standpoint of safety. It's not a good thing for the firefighters union because they're going to make less money. The union has held rallies, that is well within their rights, and they have resorted to scare tactics, which is completely out of bounds. Playing on people's fear is in poor taste. Recently, the union sent out a mailer depicting the Chatsworth Metrolink crash, which left 25 dead and 135 injured, with information about the budget cuts. How incredibly insensitive. Debra, I think the union crossed a big line. I have no sympathy for them at this point. Do you?
Absolutely not. And not only do I have not any sympathy, but anyone who's responsible for that pamphlet directly should be fired just immediately. It's ridiculous. And you know what? If we stopped allowing ourselves to prey on our own fears and started holding, people in office, regardless of what they do, and every municipality responsible for what they do, we'd start making a difference. But we're treated like cattle because we act like cattle. I abhor what was done, and something needs to be done about it.
Ron, it was just horribly distasteful.
Wait just a minute. It was the mayor who was out at the Metrolink crash with his LAFD jacket on, pretending he was the hero, not the firefighters.
But he didn't put out that pamphlet.
We're reducing...
He is not responsible directly for that pamphlet, and that's what the issue is, Ron.
All right, Ron.
Well, they're fighting for themselves, and they're also fighting for public safety. Let's not kid ourselves. We're pouring money into the fire department, into the police department, which is now over the $10,000 mark, 10,000 member mark.
Where is the integrity? With what they want and what they deserve, there is integrity. This does not show that.
Ron,
they're using the issues they can.
Ron, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Ron. I understand what you're trying to say, but right off the bat, they're for public safety. Yeah, they're for themselves. Really? Yeah, this was horribly distasteful. You can't even make an argument that that was a good idea. I mean, you can argue a lot of things, but you can't argue that.
Of all the things they represent, they did not represent good taste.
Debra, wait, Debra, go ahead, Ron.
The reduction in fire services isn't very tasteful either. There's $40 million they're cutting out of the budget. They're reducing the services. Stations are almost closed. Emergency ambulances, 85 of them are down at any time. And the reason for that is complete mismanagement by the mayor and the people who are most accusing him.
I got it.
Let us not use scare tactics. What we need to do is become angry. What we need to do is become informed, not be made to be afraid like cattle and then respond like cattle.
All right, we got to move on. Ron, I got to tell you something. I respect you greatly. You know that. I consider you a friend. I can't even believe that you would condone that for 1 second. Everything you said is true. I understand the cuts in public safety. I understand the fire department. I got all that. But wow, that was just in horribly bad taste. Got to move on.
And I know if a friend of mine was a victim or a family member was a victim, I would have sued somebody. If I saw somebody on the pamphlet that was a friend or a family member and there was emotional or psychological damage due to that, I would sue somebody.
All right, we're going to move on. As a way to save money, the state has decided to open the prison doors and let people out. That's a good idea. Basically, they're in there for a reason, but since there's no money, we're going to turn them loose and give them another chance. Yikes. So while some get to leave, they'll quickly be replaced. An advisory board in the state may channel $33 million in federal money to a narcotics task force to catch drug criminals that they're trying to jail. The goal, stop drug trafficking from Mexico. Opponents say, go after the street-level offender. It's hard to put more people in prison when you're letting them out because you don't have enough money. But if you're going to spend it, Ron, do you go after drug traffickers or offenders on the street?
Well, in L.A., we've stopped going after drug traffickers or the dealers on the street. That's one of the reasons we've been able to reduce crime is we've given them carte blanche. The whole drug thing is a mess. I completely agree. But the $30 million is free money. When feds give them money, they're going to spend it, and they're going to spend it. And the plan, supposedly, is to go after the big-time traffickers and disrupt the trade, not to put a bunch of small-time dealers and users in jail. I think we've crossed that bridge before. We've set up programs for small-time users. They don't go to jail. They don't get convicted. They get treatment, or at least in theory they do. But we're still using the drug laws to get criminals instead of getting criminals for their real crimes.
Debra, thoughts?
Well, everybody knows the prison system, especially when it comes to Los Angeles. It has a revolving door system. Prisons across the country have had a revolving door system. And now it feels like the choices that you have to make have to be rudimentary choices of who goes and who stays. And you really need to go after the traffickers because the little guy is going to go out and continue to do this. But my thing is, what about the rapists? What about the child molesters? What about, those who are huge offenders? Those are the ones I'm more concerned with. Because everyone makes their choices when it comes to drugs. And yes, it is a difficult choice for people in low income who have grown up that way and in those environments. But the bottom line is my greatest concern, more than anything else, is the revolving door system with people like I said, rapists, murderers, repeat offenders on those levels. So that's what I'm more concerned with.
All right, move on to our last topic now, and it's from NBCLA.com. Apparently, men in Los Angeles have had a bad rap. Are you aware of this? Flaky, self-obsessed, uncaring? Basically too cool for school? If you believe that, oh, you are wrong, Grasshopper. The survey says it's quite the opposite. Yes, indeed, there is a survey out, and it says that men in Los Angeles and San Francisco are the most sensitive men in America. I'll start with you, Debra. Do you agree with that?
No, because first of all, when it says, it says, number one, and they say, number two, and number three, a survey says, where is the validity to this survey? I mean, who was the one who put it out? Was it a marketing ploy?
Debra,
was it a strategy of a particular choice?
Debra, it's a survey by Axe, but really the big question here is, and I guess you've already
by
answered
Axe?
it. But
wait a minute. No.
Wait
Did
a minute.
You say by Axe body spray?
Yeah, but wait, I guess you've answered it. You don't think men are very sensitive here, do you?
Well, I know they aren't. Not in Los Angeles. If you're talking about Los Angeles itself, absolutely not. I find that men in Los Angeles have a tendency to be less conscientious than men in other states. I think because we are living in a congested area, men know what they're looking for. Very, very unconscientiously. I don't believe that there is I'm not saying that men aren't sensitive. I just think that they tend to be unconscious, unconscientious, and unaware a lot of the times. You have an industry-driven area
Debra,
here.
Debra,
and they tend to work, what you asked, and they tend to work based on what they do and how they are and allowing that to lead what they do.
I'm not going to argue with him.
They're not led by being men. They're led by being producers.
Right.
They're led by being actors. They're led by being club owners.
Debra, you know me. I'm trying to be sensitive here. You know I'm a sensitive guy. Very. Now, I'm going to give Ron the last word on this because we're almost out of time for the segment. Ron, you are a sensitive guy, aren't you?
I'm so sensitive. It's my real
I'm coming over to rub your feet.
Oh, I love you, darling. I thought the problem in Southern California was we were all shallow, not sensitive. It's a big laugh if you watch the Axe commercials because they're so, how to get 6 girls at one time by having nice smelling armpits or something. It's a real test of your sensitivity. There's no doubt about it.
Now, if you told me that they were more metrosexual, I would absolutely buy that survey.
All right, Debra, Ron, nice job tonight. I appreciate it.
Great talking to you, Fred.
Right.
Debra, good to talk to you.
All right,
you as well, Ron.
Here's a question for you. Would you rather go topless or check your cheese?
If you're so smart, prove it. Contact NBC Filter on Twitter or Facebook, or send an email to thefilter@nbcuni.com. We care what you think, but if we don't like it, we'll filter you.